Fenerbahce 1, Manchester United 1. Spurs picking up a solid home win tonight against AZ Alkmaar. But it is, again, another disaster for Manchester United. There is no doubt about it whatsoever. Loads to delve into in this game. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you are subscribing. Make sure you have the bell notification button turned on as well. Of course, yeah, it's an interesting one, whether we get stick today or whether our rivals celebrate, because every negative result for Man United is meant to see them upset like us, because it might be closer to Ten Hag leaving, but we will see. I want to get your views. I want to get your opinions. So a lot of the United fans that tune into our show, I want to get your thoughts on the manager tonight, the team selection he went with, the number 10 that he went with, bringing Anthony on instead of Ahmad. I want to get your thoughts. I want to get your feelings. I want to get your opinions on that, especially the likes of King Cantona, especially all the United fans that really stand behind this manager. I would love to ascertain your views, your opinions on all of that. But United are in a horrible, horrible position on a Europa League front. We're going to delve into that in a little bit more detail now. As I say, hit like and share buttons. Make sure you are subscribing. Now, it's 6 games without a victory in Europe for Manchester United. The first time since the early 80s. I was not even born. My parents had not met. That's how long ago it was. It is now 6 of our last 8 games in Europe where we have taken the lead and failed to win the game. Let me repeat that statistic. 6 of our last 8 European games, we have taken the lead and failed to win. That is horrendous. Horrendous. Beyond belief. We are getting towards 2 years with no away win in Europe under Ten Hag, and obviously as a club. If we just park the domestic trophies, if we just park the league table in the Prem for a moment and just focus purely on the European element, Man United are a 3 times Champions League winning, treble winning, Super Cup winning, Cup Winners' Cup winning, Europa League / UEFA Cup winning. We are a club with a huge amount of European pedigree. We haven't won away from home in 2 years. We have failed to win 6 of our last 8 European games when we've taken the lead. And we're 6 games in Europe on the bounce without a win. This is horrendous. And Sean, you can say we don't have European pedigree anymore. Not winning it at the moment doesn't take your pedigree away, because what you've just done there, Sean, is confirm that Liverpool's domestic pedigree disappeared because you didn't win a league title for 30 years. You've just, as a Liverpool fan, you've just shot. That's what I mean by dead banter. You've shot your own club in the foot. It's not good banter when your own club gets damaged by it. Come on, do better. But I'm fuming. I'm fuming with tonight. And look, I'm going to point out the positives to begin with. Onana, the double save was out of this world. He didn't deserve to be on the losing team individually. I thought he was amazing. I thought De Ligt had another solid game as an individual. Great in his duels, showed great recovery pace. Excellent individually from him. Ugarte, what he did was a job. Okay, and the goal-saving block, 2 or 3 brilliant tackles and interceptions. I thought he had a really good game. Look, Eriksen played okay. Very good goal, I would give him. Rashford played all right. I wouldn't have took him off the pitch, by the way. Very unlucky with a couple of attempts. Outside of that, I wasn't particularly impressed with anybody else in any real capacity at all. Really. I thought, those guys get some praise. I'm going to park that. I'm also going to say this. I'm not angry at Maswari. I'm not angry that he looked poor as a fullback playing in the number 10 role. He looked lost. Genuinely, he looked lost. I've always wondered what would happen if you brought a Jehovah's Witness into your house. Would they actually say anything? Have they ever been invited in, right? or will they just walk around? You know that meme from Pulp Fiction of John Travolta just looking a bit confused? That was Maswari tonight. He didn't know what he was doing, you know? And someone said he was shit. Yeah, he was as a 10. What are you expecting? If you put Lionel Messi in goal, do you think he's going to be that good? Of course he isn't, right? So it's crazy to me. But that's when I look at the manager. I look at the manager because what on God's green earth are you doing? What the hell is Ten Hag doing in that moment? I don't understand it. It makes zero sense on any level. You could be the biggest. You could be the absolutely biggest. Stop crying, we're unbeaten. You could be the biggest Ten Hag lover, okay? You could be his wife, and I bet you're confused by that decision. You've literally got Eriksen in your team. You've got Ahmad that can play there as an example. You've got Xerxes and Rasmus that could start together. I thought a really good opportunity to try somebody else in Bruno's role who naturally can play it. And he puts a fullback there. He puts a fullback there. I've had a lot of people recently say it's getting personal between them and the manager. I get it today. It feels personal. It probably isn't in reality. And when I calm down, when I have a little sleep, wake up in the morning, I'll probably feel different. But genuinely, it feels personal. Like he did it to hurt me. It beggars belief why he did that. And then when we conceded, he made the changes. We went with Casemiro in the middle. We put the two fullbacks at fullback. We put Eriksen into the 10. And Fenerbahce didn't do a single thing after that. As soon as the balance was back in the team, Fenerbahce didn't do a thing. Up until then, even though we were leading for large parts, they were the more dangerous side. We went to a conventional team with a good shape. I actually didn't mind the shape with the first starting lineup, but it was imbalanced because of where players were. Bang, we look the better side. And this is where it goes down to individual criticism again. The low. Become a big fan of you in the last couple of years. But you got bowed out today, absolutely bowed out today by Ugarte's brilliant cover. A few weeks back against Spurs, you didn't bother to track back Johnson so he had a tap in. If you'd have tracked him back and kept goal side, they don't score. Game, you never know. Football's a weird game. It might not have gone that way. They weren't on great form back then. And then Casemiro, we go into that shape, and within minutes, it yields dividends. Brilliant ball from Casemiro. He's very good at doing that. The low is him. Simple ball across the 6-yard box. There he is, Rasmus for the tap in. Said it many, many times before, us that many, many times again. The lack of opportunities like that we create for our number 9, Rasmus, it should be illegal. There should be prison sentences handed out to these players for the lack. If Haaland's in that, if City are in that position, Haaland gets the goal. If Liverpool are in that position, Jota puts it away. If Arsenal are in that position, Kai Havertz gets the chance to score. They all at least get the chance to score. We don't. We always don't. And then not only did he make the wrong decision and pass it back to Rashford, he blasted it at him. He absolutely levered it at Rashford, so he had no chance of scoring. And then after that, then I look at the players and the manager as a collective after that. And this gets to me. I get a lot of stick on the Football Terrace. I get a lot of stick when teams play okay, play average, sometimes play badly, but get a win. And I say it's a champion's win. That's the win of a champion. It's a sign of a champion. Doesn't guarantee you'll be champions, but it's a sign. Tonight's the polar opposite, but within that spectrum. Man United were in this game. We made the changes. We started to play well. And then we get to the last 15 minutes. And you see the lack of champions mentality seep into this team. And I believe it starts in the training ground from the coaches and the manager. And I believe it manifests itself on the pitch. Garnacho could have fed 3 different players in. I personally wouldn't have tried to feed Rashford or Rasmus or Rasmus in because of where they were. I would have played it out. I think it was the low that was out on the right-hand side. but he decides to try and score from 30 yards and it flies over. Rasmus as well takes it on the inside, beats his man. Now you've got to put some power behind the shot. I think he shits himself, misses. And then it was just the amount of ridiculous long balls towards the end, rushing the approach play. And everybody was guilty of that in one way, shape, or form. The entire team lost its composure. So I'm just absolutely fuming with the starting lineup. A number of individuals tonight were absolutely poor. And the team's lack of composure is a big, big worry for me. Like I said before, I don't just think if Man United get rid of our manager, everything overnight is going to be fixed. Never said that once. Anybody that believes that, I think, is wrong. Equally, so that's looking at the players, and a lot of them need to improve and or be sold. But starting Maswari as the number 10, that by itself is indefensible. There is no defense for that. And if you've got one, I would love to hear it. Maradon here says, Terry, stop waffling. United can't score goals. Blood. Why are you saying blood? You don't talk like that. I said from day one, Squirt Z and Asmus ain't it. So when you say stop waffling, so this is where you don't know how to banter properly. I'm right now ripping into my team, and you're saying stop the excuses, stop the waffle. I suppose you want me to go to that next level and just say every single Man United player is crap, and we're never going to ever get back to the top as a football club. It's probably just what you want to hear, but that's really weird. Diego here says, this guy watched a different game to us, and he's waffling nonsense because of his Ten Hag agenda. The sad person. We played well, but got a draw. It's fine. Nothing major. We move. I mean, listen, you can say that all you want. You can believe that all you want, my friend. I think you're fundamentally wrong. Please explain to me your thoughts on Maswari starting as a 10. Then equally, I didn't just blame the manager. I went into individual players being poor as well. So get out of that one, Perry, and give me your response, please. So player decisions is Ten Hag's fault. Nav, I love you, bro, but I didn't say that, did I? And I'm going to keep my cool and I'm not going to explode, but that isn't what I said, is it? I've said, and I was very clear. This is why I've started doing the fucking disclaimers at the beginning of these videos. Genuinely. I literally said the manager's to blame for X, Y, and Z. Then I started to blame the players. And what did I say? So I look at it as a collective. I said individually the players making poor decisions. Some of them need to improve. Some of them need to be sold. I was very specific and distinct between the two things. Please do me a favor, Nav. You've been a long-time member and I respect you. How on God's green earth have you missed that? How is it even plausible that you have just written me that message when I specifically, distinctly, categorically, in no unadulterated terms, specified the different criticism between manager and players today, and some that I think is an overall collective? And I do think a well-drilled team that has been coached properly over the last 2 years and developed and got to a higher level would be able to handle those pressured moments more. But it doesn't mean I won't criticize the individual players as well. Come on now, my friend. You've been watching for a long time. How have you just said that to me? I'm absolutely flabbergasted that that's your response to what I said. Joshua here says, this is why I didn't get giddy over the second half at the weekend, because they never replicate ever. Should have lost today. It wasn't for Onana's super saves. Ten Hag supporters need to go to an asylum. Do you know what I find really interesting is if we played our best team available. Listen, I got the first 15 minutes of the match and we scored at the end of it. I knew it was going to be hostile. It's that, listen, the Turkish people, they're a passionate, patriotic, I don't want to use the word aggressive, very assertive nation when it comes to their sport. They are. I've been there and watched sport. I grew up with a lot of Turkish friends in the East End of London. It's what they do, and it's amazing. We rode that fine. But when it comes to, we didn't replicate their second half performance. We ran out of ideas in the game. Individuals that we've criticized had terrible games that we've called out. And the manager started a fullback in the 10 role or the second striker role when we have second strikers in the team and we have at least two other players that could play in that position naturally. To not, I just, for me, it's why I didn't get giddy either. And it's like I've said the other day, when we thought he was at the end, or I think I thought he was at the end. I say I thought he was at the end. I was like, do you know what? I don't ever want to lose in reality, but if it just means we move on and draw a line and start again, I can take it, essentially. I'm at a point now where I think we might keep him for the rest of the season. So I've gone back to now what I was thinking at the end of the last campaign. Every game's about results, really. It's about getting the result. It's about getting the W, because I don't see where the long-term progression and consistency is ever going to come from because of decisions like the manager made today. Playing Maswari in the 10. You should... When I watched Chelsea earlier on today, it was literally a complete rotation from the weekend's game. But the shape was the same. The approach was the same. Majority of people playing in their natural positions. He didn't go, do you know what I'm going to do today? I'll play Reece James as 10 because I'm going to rest Cole Palmer. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. Arnie Slot last night didn't turn around and go, do you know what I'm doing? Simicast, you're playing. Oh, thanks, boss. But so are you, Robertson, and so are you, Trent. Oh, where am I playing? Soboslai is sitting out, mate. Simicast, 10. That's what... We're never going to create consistency by doing that. It's never going to happen. Ever. Man so delusional, still thinking Rasmus and Xerxes are good players, but no service. With service, they're still shit. Again, but that doesn't address my point, does it? It's not an addressing of the point that I made, is it, my friend? You're not addressing anything there. I wasn't impressed with Xerxes today. I thought he had a really poor game. I also criticized Rasmus tonight for when he took the ball inside and didn't hit his shot right. I think you could argue he made the right decision. He didn't execute it correctly. The point I was making is when Delo is in that position, doesn't matter. Rasmus is scoring if that ball is laid off to him, in my personal opinion. Or it's a very high probability that he scores. I'm criticizing Delo for not playing the right pass. If Delo plays the right pass and Rasmus misses, that's the conversation. At no point, again, delusional Johnny Sins, literally naming yourself after a porn star, tells me what you get up to in your private life. Enjoy. You're literally saying things I did not fucking say. Mad analysis back from you guys tonight. If Ten Hag was to go tonight, who would you like? Because Mo's backstage, I'm going to say Inzaghi. There is reports out of Italy that United have supposedly done a deal with him for the summer. I don't personally believe it, but I've got to read the full article yet, but I don't think that's true. You better keep that energy going like you did for Arsenal. Fenerbahce, AZ dogshit teams in my books with young boys. Like I said yesterday, be real and be fair. Okay. So where am I praising a draw? We've been live for 17 minutes and you wrote this 5 minutes ago. At what point in the 17, 18 minutes you've been watching have I been praising my team for getting a draw away from home in Europe? Where? What are you? No disrespect, Chess. What is wrong with the viewers tonight? Genuinely. I'm worried about some of you. How can I sit there and criticize Man United and your first response is keep the same energy like you did for Arsenal? You know, the other day, listen, you're a super chat and I respect it, but you know, sometimes I make these comments where I say sometimes, and I mean this in general, I think football has become an illness for some people to a point where it stops their ears from working. Genuinely, how have you got that from what I have said? I can't believe it. I cannot believe what I am reading. It's cognitive dissonance is what it is. I think what you get a lot is this. If you don't just say, people want me to speak in like 10 words, very slow syllables, sort of, Man United are shit. We will never be good again. Show everyone, burn the club. I don't know how many words that was, maybe 12, 15. But that's all. I think that's the analysis people want. Nowadays, you give the reasons why you're bad. Excuses. What do you mean it's an excuse? I don't want to know why you're bad. Just say you're crap and end the stream. Fuck me. Cheers, Chet. If you tried to trigger me, it worked. It did work. When I said meth has predetermined subs. Oh, Ten Hag, you mean? I've written meth. Maybe you do mean meth. You didn't want to hear that. Ahmad was player of the match, player of the month, and somehow Anthony got in before him. Look, listen. I hear where you're coming from. Okay, cool. We can agree to disagree. I can accept that you're right. That's absolutely fine. I don't understand the exclusion of Ahmad. The exclusion of Ahmad. Again, everyone that's supporting Ten Hag, explain it logically and don't without saying, well, clearly he just doesn't fancy Ahmad. Yeah, I get it. Why? What is he seeing in Anthony that he hasn't seen in Ahmad? What is it? Explain that to me and why you think he's right. Because to defend it means you think he's right. So explain it to me, please. Yeah, I hear you that. Yeah. Anthony over Ahmad was crazy. By the way, I hope Anthony is okay. I don't wish injury upon anybody. I'm not that cruel. Terry, ignore these blockheads. They are here trying to rattle you. You always have been coherent. Thank you. Sometimes I wonder. I think did something happen to me? Do you know what I mean? Have I got long COVID or something? Is that a real thing? I don't know. People said it was. Terry, I posted this before you went live. That is not true. Absolutely not true. You posted it because it tells me on here. You posted it at 7 minutes past 10. I've been live for 21 minutes. Maths, bruv. The maths ain't mathing. The maths ain't mathing, my guy. But the thing is, if you've been watching me long enough and you're not a troll, then you know I'm always fair. Doesn't mean you always agree with me, but there's no way if Man United would have carried on playing like we did in the first half, didn't concede, maybe grabbed another late goal, I'd have taken the win. But we didn't. And I'm criticizing it. It was poor. I'm bringing out the panel now because I've had enough talking. I'm in a bad mood. We've got Sunshine, we've got Judge Mo, we've got KJ, we've got D Mizzy. Obviously, Spurs won tonight as well. So well done to Spurs, as I already mentioned. I'll be honest with you, I didn't really watch their game. I was so engrossed in the United game. I didn't watch it too much. Everyone keeps mentioning Biryani. I'm assuming that Faz was eating biryani again when Fenerbahce scored. How the fuck have they timed that? Because some people will say it's fake. But you don't ever know when a team's going to score. Do you know what I'm saying? They don't know. That's a madness. That's cheered me up a little bit, if I'm being honest with you. And now I feel hungry as well. That's crazy. And also, do you know why tonight did go wrong as well? First of all, every time Faz brings out biryani now, he's got to be told to put it away. It's clearly a jinx. The same as every time United Trey said we're going to win a game, something goes wrong. He was at the game tonight. He was tweeting about it. Please, Elon Musk, ban that guy. For one reason or another, get him off the TL. The man is a jinx, bruv. Genuinely, he's a jinx. KJ's here, Mo's here, Sunshine's here, Dizzy's here. Welcome, gents. KJ, another disappointing night for United. We took the lead, but for the 6th time in our last 8 European games, we take the lead and fail to win. Talk to me.
We haven't won a game in Europe for a year now, officially. 1 year without a win in Europe is crazy. And that's funny. One of those seasons, it started in the Europa League, and we've gone to the Champions League, got knocked out, and gone back into the Europa League, and still haven't been able to win in the Europa League again. Maybe we need to go in the Conference League. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's how we're going to get a win. Maybe that's our level. Because right now, we are sleepwalking into nothing. Like, the season's done. The season's over. I don't want to hear anyone say, oh, no, but look how early it is. And, when the players get it right, then we'll be climbing up the league and we'll climb the Europa League table and we'll go to the knockouts and we'll win a trophy. It's done. It's done. There's nothing to look forward to in this team. This manager has sucked the living life out of all of us. It's just gone. And the players, you can see it. It's just sucked to all of it because that we play is dreadful. We scored a very good goal, very good team goal on the counter today. Fair enough. Well done, Ericsson. He's been scoring goals this season. But before that and after that, Fenerbahce looked like the ones that are going to score more than us. Second half comes. Again, we're looking flat. Boom. Goal that we expect to come finally comes because Ugarte wasn't there and Onana wasn't able to do these amazing saves that he did in the first half. And then nothing. then nothing for a good 15 minutes. We make subs. We get one opportunity that the low should have done so much better with. And then again, it goes back to pop shots from outside the box, people trying to dribble past people and shooting, and then just failed attacks breaking down over stupid reasons. I'm tired. And no amount of, but look at the players' decision making is going to change the fact that, you know what, maybe it's because they don't know actually what to do. Maybe there's no plan, or the plan is rubbish. Like let
me throw something at you on that point, because I don't want to go off that point for a second.
Yeah.
Again, how do you think the players felt after a very good second half at the weekend, played well, started getting a little bit of momentum, when the manager says, by the way, our best player of the season, who's been playing at right back, I'm starting him today, he's back in the team in Bruno's position in the 10. What message? How do you think that goes down in the dressing room when he says that?
They must be all looking at each other as like, has he lost his damn mind? Like, I know he's under pressure and I know he's feeling it. And I know he's bold from stress. But has he lost more follicles? How can you lose more follicles when you got no hair, bro? That's the depth of craziness that he's gone through. And the players must be looking around and being like, this makes no damn sense. You've got Ahmad, who's been playing well from the start of the season, played well for us, went for a period where he's looking a bit, okay, maybe he's not doing enough. And then boom, just out of the team out of nowhere. He could play the number 10. You have a striker that says a 9.5, an opportunity to play both the strikers because Rasmus is on form and Xerxes looks like he needs a player that's right next to him for him to be unlocked. You have a chance to play Xerxes and Højlund up top. Go and do it. Then Eriksson, who we all have seen this season, play probably his best form for Man United. He was in the international break, scoring and assisting goals for Denmark in their 10. And you don't play him there either. So it just completely makes no sense. And if I was a player, I would be concerned. Because
there's a comment here I want to throw up to you. I want to throw up to from the audience. And Nava said we scored when Mazwari was at 10.
Cool. But did we win the game? When something went wrong, did he keep him there? No. Mazwari did all he could do in the 10. I'm not even going at Mazwari as like, oh, he was crap, it was rubbish, because he's in a position that he doesn't normally play. Last time he played that position was in the Eredivisie 4 years ago in 2020. Like, so it's not about him. I could play left wing for Man United and be part of a goal, but I'm not going to be good enough for the whole 90 minutes there because I'm not a pro football, am I? And he's not a number 10. So it doesn't matter if we scored then. It just doesn't work.
Can I ask Nav a question here, right? Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and we will challenge each other's opinions where we think people often say my opinion can't be wrong. I disagree. My opinion is Mazwari shouldn't be playing in the number 10. Someone could say I think he should. I think there's a possibility opinions can be wrong. There is a weird like modern day notion that opinions can't be wrong. Some people think the world's flat. I think they're wrong, right? I'm just saying. Henry thinks he's good looking. We all think he's wrong, right? There's always opinions out there like that. Do you know what I'm saying, right? Only joking, Henry. Welcome to the show. But let me ask Nav this question. Like, do you feel you're being a better fan by publicly backing the manager? Is that what? Can I ask? I'm asking you individually that question because I feel that sometimes because there is no. You know, if we were playing well, right? I'll give you an example. If we look at Arsenal's situation, I would say the first couple of years, everybody that wanted the manager out, I understood why. Because they were up and down, losing games, they looked poor. Let's go to the last couple of seasons. The debate's been really interesting to watch from the outside, and we all have an opinion on it. Because they've played some very good football. They've been in title races. They haven't got over the line, which we all know. But you get some that look at the football and the level of consistency in their play and go, I think we will win if we continue in this path. And some others think, I think we've gone as far as we can go and we need to change it. That kind of makes sense. When it comes to Ten Hag, what is it people backing him are seeing that I'm not? What is it that makes you believe that this is going to turn out good? And I don't mean winning another domestic trophy. I mean where we consistently play well. By the way, nearly 2 years without a win away from home in Europe, 12 months without a win in totality, and 6 of our last 8 European games, we've taken the lead and failed to win. How do you see that improving under this manager? And don't just say, trust it, I believe in it. Get specific with me. Or, Nav, are you just thinking, I want to defend my club publicly because I think that's the best way of being a fan? If that's what it is, then I respect it. I can accept your reason, but I don't get it. As I said, with the Arteta in and out debate, I understand both people's arguments. I just disagree with some of them. The only ones I really call out, if people actually listen closely enough, is the ones who talk out of both sides of their mouth. You know, 1 minute performances are all that matter. The next minute, I know it's the wins. And they'll go with whichever way they can to be negative. Those are the ones I have a laugh with and call out. But I get why some people don't want Arteta, and I get why some people want to keep him. No one has presented me, anytime I've asked for it, a coherent reason as to why they think this manager is going to suddenly make us more consistent. It's so confusing to me. It's really Nav actually says here, in my opinion, I don't need public acknowledgement, and that doesn't make me a top fan. What do you mean?
It's his opinion. It's just his opinion.
Yes,
again,
yes.
now, the question.
Yeah. Why is it your opinion? I always say on the terrace, I like the what. The what's great, but I want to know the why. What is the why behind your what? Why do you want to back him? What is your rationale? How do you think it's going to help Man United? And I'm not saying you do want public acknowledgement. Well, you want public acknowledgement to a certain degree because you're leaving public comments on a public stream in front of thousands of people. We're all here for public acknowledgement, public discourse, public conversation. Everyone on YouTube is. I know. There are some social media people that say I don't do it for attention. No, we all do. We all want attention in one way, shape, or form. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here, would we? Would be D-Mizzy. But thank you, Nav. Sunshine, over to you, mate. Sorry.
No, that's all good. Don't apologize. Some interesting points, man. I think I said last time on the terrace, I think there's been a build up of Ten Hag out, and I think I'd easily say a good 40-50% of situations that have happened at United have not been on the manager, including games this year. But again, if you are someone that wanted him out last season and this season, sadly your go-to is every decision is Ten Hag out, and you build up this idea that that's an issue. To the point where when you don't get a result, everything's Ten Hag out, Ten Hag out. I listened to KJ at the end. He said people taking pop shots and hitting balls outside, but then said, I don't want to hear anything about individual players. Well, those two sentences can't make sense when you drop your emotions, because again, if individuals are taking pop shots out of the box, that is on the individual. So you've answered your own question.
KJ Stinker there.
No, it's not a stinker because there's a logical reason why.
What I will say. Okay. What I will say.
Week's wages fine for that, KJ. Done.
No, it's not. Listen, it's not. And I'll tell you why it's not. It's because, like I said, KJ, respectfully, as much as I agree and disagree with some of his opinions, he's reached an honest point where he can't take no more, and there's many fans like that. So at some point, you are going to have those kind of opinions where you don't actually care to deep what you're actually saying too tough, because it's just an emotional situation. We've just come off a loss. It's hard to do these streams when you've come off a loss, especially when you don't believe in someone. So it's not even a dig at KJ. It's just an observation. So I'm a little bit more calmer in the situation. Fenerbahce today, for me, Terry, 1-1. What an environment to walk into when you're low on confidence. Regardless, you're needing that win away from home. That was a very difficult game, in my opinion, to go and get any win off, especially when you haven't had the form of results prior to this game. I thought we played good enough, as good as we could, to get a draw today. However, because of the previous results, that does carry over into the game. So if you take the FC20 and the Porto situation where, we do enough to go and win games, but then we have a lapse of concentration. If you take wins off those games, which arguably, if it wasn't for individual errors and stupidity, we go and make the most out of them. We're not looking at this game, Fenerbahce 1-1, going, you know what? Yeah, Ten Hag's at a madness. Let's be honest, we're not, because you're looking at 2 wins and 1. But the reality, and I'll stick with the reality because that's, again, ifs and buts. The reality is he's on 2 draws, so he has to go and get the result. Therefore, this result is not good enough. The Mazraoui thing in the 10. Listen, I put a tweet out there, Terry. I said the rationale, the reality of the situation would be either Ahmad or Zirkzee in the 10. The reason it wouldn't have been Eriksen, and I'll back this up 24/7. The reason it wouldn't have been Eriksen, although he could play the 10, is because in midfield against that Fenerbahce, if you do put Casemiro in there, we're looking heavily defensive, and then there's going to be a gap because we all know Eriksen getting back and tracking back is not good enough. So he's better in a deeper position. That's why Eriksen's been playing there. Bruno's been playing in the 10. So that does leave only Ahmad and Zirkzee arguably to play in that 10 role, whether you like that or not, or whether you like that opinion or not. So to me, Mazraoui should not have been in that 10. However, was he the reason we played so poor in that 10? I don't believe he was. So that individual decision, weird or not, was not a contributing factor to us losing or for us drawing. I don't believe that. I believe Mazraoui in that 10 did enough to even win the ball one in midfield, but help create that goal as well. Did he do his job? Yes. Is he a natural 10? No, we can have the argument discussion any time of the week. The reality is Mazraoui playing in that 10 was not an issue. So therefore, like it or not, he got that decision right. The biggest issue I'll have with Ten Hag is how the hell...
Right.
How the
Wait,
hell...
right.
I want to hear the argument. Let's just hear the argument.
Sorry, my apologies.
Sorry, I know it's your stream. I just really, because I was focused
No, it's fine.
on the
Remember,
of thought,
the football terrace is a democracy. So yes, sorry, carry on, Sunshine. Sorry, bro.
So, I was focused.
So yeah, no, it's all good. So given the fact that Mazraoui had a good game in the 10 and we scored from it, he hasn't put a foot wrong in the 10. Therefore, that is a good decision. Now, unless you want to challenge that and go, what did he do wrong in the 10? I'm open to ears. If you can recall what he did in the 10 that was wrong, defensively and again attackingly. So we say this about Bruno, I'm consistent. No one talks about Bruno defensively in the 10 when he's tracking back and everything else. Swept under the carpet. So actually looked over. It's all hoofball. Mazraoui was doing exactly the same same kind of football, shall we say, to replicate what he would have off Bruno. Again, challenge it with facts and evidence. I'm open to hearing that. Mazraoui didn't do nothing wrong in the 10, in my opinion. Was much better when it went to the back. However, the issue for me was Amad Diallo, one, not starting, in my honest opinion, because I would have started him in the 10. By the way, just because I feel I have an understanding of Ten Hag starting Mazraoui in the 10 does not mean I agree. I'm just making an honest, objective opinion that he got it right, given the fact Mazraoui had a good game. Feel free to challenge it. It is what it is. Amad Diallo, though, should have started, and Amad Diallo, in my honest opinion, should have come on way before Anthony. Those are the biggest gripes for me.
So, Sunshine, do you know what?
Terry, to what Nate said
let me
about
just. I will come back to your bit in just 1 second. I want to say this. Let's just sit in your world for a minute where Mazraoui played well in the 10. And I've said something similar. I think for a right back playing in the 10 role, I was like, I'm not annoyed at him. Does it not stand to reason, though, that Ahmad could have done a better job than Mazraoui in the 10 and Man United could have scored more goals if it had started in the 10?
Great question. Exactly like what I said. Just because I have an understanding of him starting there and because I can appreciate that he had a good game there does not mean I agree. Like I said at the start of the stream, should have been Zirkzee or Ahmad in the 10. The reason it wasn't Eriksen is because I already give those reasons. So, no, I don't believe he got it right in the sense of, he should have started a more natural number 10 from an attacking perspective. However, given the fact we had to watch the game play out, observing the final result after the 90 minutes of watching that number 10, he didn't put a foot wrong. He actually wasn't an issue, wasn't a liability, which we would have predicted was. So because he wasn't a liability based off those facts, unless you can prove to me something he did wrong in the 10, defensively and attackingly, unless you can prove that, he actually had a good game. Therefore, that was not the issue on the pitch. Therefore, that means Ten Hag got it right, even if I disagree that he should have played Ahmad or Zirkzee. That's my opinion.
So hold on. So you agree with so I wanted you to understand your point. So you think it's Ten Hag today tactically got it mostly right, and it wasn't the individuals. Unless you think you had a good. No, I want to understand the landing point here. Which one is it? Is it Ten Hag got it tactically right, or the players didn't perform? Because it didn't look good. Yes, you scored the goal. It didn't look good. So it has to be one of the others. Either the players are bad or the coach is bad. Which one?
Well, we've all seen where a performance where a coach has been great and players have been great in a game. We've all seen the complete opposite. So it can be both. But today, in isolation, in my opinion, today in isolation, given the game that we had, I felt tactically the first half wasn't great in my opinion. We got the goal. I think we did enough defensively to do well. We saw the saves from Manana, and we saw obviously was it Ugarte with incredible block. We saw two pieces of great individual brilliance in those moments. Sometimes that is football. Was that anything to do with tactics? No, it wasn't. That was individual. We praise them for that. But second half, when it came to being 1-1, when it went to 1-1, I've seen us capitulate most of the time this game. And in the second half, we were on top and possession stats evened out. Like I said, a draw is a fair result. The game itself wasn't as bad as people are saying. In my opinion, the reason I'm saying that is for the simple fact that because of previous results, which I've been saying for the whole season, go and get your results. I don't care about style of playing, performances. Go get your results, however you got to get them. That's my biggest.
I actually completely disagree with you.
And that's fine.
I actually think, listen,
go,
respectfully, I disagree with you. I actually think when I'm hearing you talking, Najee, to be honest, all I'm hearing is you are trying to find excuses that will make you sleep well at night about the manager and the club and the players. That's how I'm
what
sorry.
Have I said that gives you that impression?
I'm going to tell you. The reason as I'm watching this game, this is my opinion, and that is why I am judging your opinion. I'm going to give you my opinion. You will understand why I'm judging your opinion the way I'm judging. When I watched Man United today, I kept asking myself, what is the end result here? What are we looking for? Is there a style of play that this manager is trying to do? What is the end goal of playing Mazraoui there? What are you trying to do? Why is this new formation? Why is Amad Diallo not playing? Why did you make late subs like this? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, there is no end result because there's no style of play and the results are not coming. If none of these things are coming, there is no positives to take out of this game. None. Zero zilch. This is my opinion about football. Unless you are challenging, unless this is the Champions League, and you're about to win the Champions League, you didn't get anything out of the game.
Just quickly, you've made a statement to say you thought I've made an excuse. What have I said that's an excuse for a manager?
Because you kept saying that his decision. What is the end goal for him to play?
No. Don't answer.
And I'm asking you because I see no end goal on playing Mazraoui as a 10 today when you don't get the result, and at the end you play the way you play.
Hold that point.
Hold that. So let me finish the point, Najee. Let me finish the point. You asked me a question. You said, why did you say that? I find that because you started your talk right about that point of Mazraoui, and you find all the positives, and you said he didn't put a foot wrong. I see no end goal. The future, Mazraoui is not going to play in the 10. You get a result. Mazraoui in the 10 doesn't mean anything for Man United for the next 5 years if this guy's going to stay there. Even if you keep Ten Hag, you won't sit here and tell me that Ten Hag will play Mazraoui in the 10 in 5% of the games you're going to play if this manager stays.
I get your point.
There's no reason.
I get your point. Can I respond?
Go ahead.
So you've only taken part of what I said. And that's why, again, I'm going to have to repeat myself. Just because I have an understanding of him playing in the 10 does not mean I agree with it. I told you before the start, before I even made that comment, I said, anyone that was listening, just to prove that.
You said you would rather Amad or Xerxes play.
Okay, thank you. So therefore, that tells you already that I do not agree with him playing there. However, I'm always open to being wrong. So because he's played in the 10, I've had to watch the game. I'm anticipating that he does shit in the 10. He hasn't. I would love to sit here and say, I told you so, should have played Amad Xerxes, but he didn't. So because of that, I can't sit here and say...
It's a very subjective opinion. It's a very subjective opinion. Very subjective opinion.
There's a level...
So where is... No, I'm sorry, wait, hold up. No, because he made a statement. Where is the excuse? What excuse have I given? You've not really said anything.
I never... You said I give excuse to yourself that everything is good. I don't think... When you say Mazraoui is played well at the 10, he didn't put a foot... I'm using your word. Didn't put foot wrong. I mean, the manager is a genius.
I said
a manager.
Challenge. No. I said feel free to challenge me with what he did wrong in the attack and in the defense in the 10. I said to do that.
Najee, I don't think it's about what he did wrong. It's about what he didn't do. He is not a number 10. He doesn't have. He is. But this is exactly, and I think this is. As a player, I'm not angry with what he did or didn't do tonight because he is a fullback being played out of position in a ridiculously massive brain fart moment from the manager. Football analysis, yes, some of it is about talking about what someone did and didn't do. But I believe there is a possibility that we play better as a team and win this game, irrespective of it was a hard game, bad environment, confidence is low. We had to win tonight. We're winless this season in Europe. We're winless for 12 months, and we're winless away from home for nearly 2 years. And I think that was a fundamental mistake by the manager. I think it is a logical theory that if Amad starts in that position, he could have done more than Mazraoui.
Which would have been my preference, sorry.
Exactly. So we kind of agree on that. It was a mistake from the manager to not try that. What we're saying is it isn't Maswari's not being criticised individually. We're saying, I think it was a mistake from the manager to not start that player. And the reason I also say that is as soon as we went to a conventional back four, 2 holding midfielders and an actual 10, we controlled the game. And now we should have scored. We should have scored after that. And that is where I do blame, especially Delo. Like how Delo didn't square that ball to Rasmus or Rashford properly. We'd have scored from that, which we probably should have done, and gone on to win. Then we'd have said, look, Ten Hag got it wrong, but he rectified the situation. So that's where I think you have to have balance when criticizing the manager, and then you criticize the individuals. The Garnacho shot from range late on, it's almost like what a great position, and he did that. All that stuff isn't the manager per se for me. That's the individuals. But
I think in your defense,
I look at it this way: did our manager do everything he could tonight to win that game?
Absolutely not.
No, he tripped up at the beginning. And as I said to KJ, that message, you're sitting there in a dressing room, you're Casemiro, you're Rashford, you're whoever. Maswari's back in the starting lineup today, boys. Oh, great. He's been brilliant this season. I know. Delit turns around, guys. I'm looking forward to playing next year, mate. No. You're not playing next to him, Delit. He's going up top. Fuck me. Like, imagine the feeling in that dressing room if he did that.
I think in your defense, obviously I know KJ wants to respond quickly. In your defense, I think I'm splitting hairs in terms of where I'm blaming most of the proportion. I don't think that was out of all the poor decisions. I agree, by the way, it's a poor decision. That's why I said I wouldn't have that preference. Out of all the poor decisions he made, I don't think that could be a focus, given the simple fact that Ahmad, one, should have started, in my opinion, given the fact that, again, we all know Rashford's playing in some form. Yes, he had a great game against Brentford, a great game. But the reality is Ahmad's been way better on that right-hand side than any of our forwards. That's just a fact. From a creative standpoint, even when he came in off the bench, I think he created, 4 or 5 chances in the space of 5-10 minutes in a previous game when he came off the bench. Like, this man in the Europa League, in my opinion, should be starting off that bench. Whether he plays in the 10 or on the right, he should have been starting for me. That is my biggest issue for Ten Hag today. That's bigger than Mazraoui starting.
The manager is whack, bro. Playing Mazraoui in the 10 and not playing Ahmad and choosing Anthony. Bro, bro, the manager is whack, bro. He lost his head, bro. He's crazy. I have no idea how some people don't see this.
And even the Lindelof thing, crazy. Right? Lindelof made the mistake for the goal, right? That was a good cross from St. Maximin. But if Lindelof is marking, I forget the name of the striker. His name's gone out of my head. Edna Siri. If he's marking him properly, and the commentator said it, but this is basic. I don't know what it's like in America, young Daniel, or in Egypt where you grew up, Mo. But you were all taught as kids, even when you don't play centre back, you hear it in training. You don't show your number to the striker behind you. If they can read your number, you're in no man's land. But again, why is he starting when Maswari's fit to play 90 minutes? Play the normal back four that's been good so far this season, right? Or done well in games this season. There's Lindelof starting, Maswari in the 10, Anthony coming onto the football pitch. I didn't think Rashford should have come off today because he looked dangerous, you know. Yes. And Garnacho had a quiet game. So there's 4 mistakes there by the manager, but yet Ten Hag's lover boys want to come in here and defend it. Now, that doesn't mean we can't criticize the individuals, but Lindelof shouldn't have been touching the pitch.
You just tried to call me a lover boy.
It's crazy.
No. Don't do that.
Is that my Wi-Fi? Is that my Wi-Fi again? Is that my Wi-Fi? Did it go funny? All right, yeah. Sorry, KJ, I want to go back to you because I know you wanted to reply about your wages being taken for a week.
Oh, no, it's not about that. My wages never be taken because I will take you to court, my brother. You know what I'm saying? And I will win. But no, Neji, you mentioned I contradicted myself because I was annoyed at the players taking pop shots from outside the box, but yet said I don't want to hear about the players because of the way that we coach. That's because I think the direct cause of them taking pop shots outside the box because I don't think they're coached well. So they go hand in hand. If we were coached better, I think they will make better decisions because they trust what they do and they believe in what we do, and therefore we won't see as many pop shots from outside the box because we'll probably play it around a bit more, create more chances in and around the box.
You do realize most of the things that we're creating right now. Moment, don't you?
Pardon?
You do know Jose Mourinho went full on super defensive at that moment. So
yeah, that is the job of the manager to deal with those situations and coach us in a way that if a team does go defensive,
there's a difference between coaching off the field and then going off the field, and then when you're now faced with the back five as such as Jose went into, and had that solid defense, again, you can't then just coach and say, right, you start playing 1-2 intricate passes there.
No, but
we
this
always know we got the personnel wrong on the pitch.
But the problem is not just like isolated situation. It's the entire time since last preseason that this issue has been going on.
That goes into my argument. Why are we creating so many chances in the league, but we're not finishing them? Again, that has a flaw in your logic.
But yeah, but look at how we create other chances. Are our chances?
I've seen them, bro.
Are our chances something that we can see happening every week? No, they're not. They're not something we can see in terms of
there's a high level number of
probably see us week in, week out.
One of the
things, let me land, please. Let me land, Jenny.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. One of the I've spoken to footballers at different levels, yeah, and I spoke to one recently, and he said one of the frustrations he has with his team and his manager is that the fact that they're going to win is a coin toss. Every game is a coin toss if they're going to win, because it's not a method. It's not a set way of doing things. It's not an ideology of the playing. Okay, they'll go every week. All right, cool. What can we do to start nullify our position? Okay, how can we score goal? Okay, cool. Let's go do that. Even players, they want system. They want philosophy. They want something that they can play, that they know that week in, week out, even things change, we know that we can actually make an opportunity. We can actually do what we want to do.
And I can prove that.
And every week, obviously, things aren't going to go perfectly, but there's still that that belief. Right now with Man United, yes, we've created some big chances in the league. But
it's not a big chance. It's the volume of chances we create.
But when have we seen
that we are doing enough on the pitch to get the result?
But Najee, you're not listening. When have we seen the same things created over and over and over? We don't see that. All our big chances are different.
That is not how football works, KJ. You know the game long enough to know, unless you're Manchester City, and this is why Man City have absolutely effed up the whole program, in my opinion. Because there's this notion that there's only one way in which you create chances in a football game.
No, I'm not saying there's only one way.
Hold on. Manchester United, right now, as we see it, are going through this mad process of, one, trying to identify their players and structure, and two, trying to get some form of consistency. When you're creating chances, the types of chances you create are not going to be all the time. And again, I'd say 60 at your best, by the way, 60% of the chances throughout the whole league are probably going to be similar, not the same, similar. 60%. I'll give you a fair bucket and say 70%. Most times in games, especially when you're through this mad process, bro, when you're trying to play football, the reality of the situation, as it stands where Man United are, you're not going to get a level of consistency in the types of chances. However, if you're creating enough numbers, bro, and enough numbers of chances, that then shows there is a flaw in your logic. There's something you're missing.
There's not a flaw in my logic.
There has to be.
There can't be a flaw in my logic. I'm not saying you have to score the same goal every week.
And then see the numbers reflect my opinion, then that means there must be a difference in your logic.
The thing is, I've told you what the issue is with the stat that you put out. And it's not the fact we haven't made chances. It's the fact that we don't make consistent chances, and the players can you can see the players do not play.
We do make consistent chances. The point I'm making.
Hold on, you really think there's a pattern of play? You watch Man United, Najee, and think there are patterns of play.
Since Fulham at the first game of the season.
Oh my God!
I told you from Fulham, first game of the season.
Listen, Brentford.
And you think you repeated the patterns of play?
One second.
It's not hard to see, bro. I can see it. I don't gain from lying, bro. I don't gain anything from lying about my club. I don't.
I know you don't. I know. I never call you a liar, bro. Never.
I've seen
the greatest team in the world. Brentford aren't the greatest team in the world, but you know how Brentford score goals. They may not be exactly the same each week, which I'm not saying it has to be. But you know how Brentford score goals. You know what their plan is. You know what their players are going to do and what positions they need to be in to make that happen. Man United, my problem is we don't have that. I'm not saying we can't mix it up and do something different every now and then, or if something's nullifying what we do normally, we change it so we can score. I'm not saying we can't do that. What I'm saying is, as a team, these players do not have a set way of belief from getting the goal from our end of the pitch to their end of the pitch of scoring goals.
And do you want to know what the interesting point about this? I missed the beginning of it because I went out to make myself a drink. But what I find interesting about this is sometimes where I agree slightly with AG, and I also agree partly with KJ. I think you both got parts that you're right on. The problem that you have is that what we were doing when we made the substitutions after we conceded was a similar setup to what we played like in the second half at the weekend, and we started to move the ball a little bit better. We started to do things again. The problem is with our manager, and we said this the other day, so I'm getting a lot of background noise from Dizzy's microphone. Dizzy's the microphone, not Dizzy's. It's the manager, in my opinion. When you suddenly go, right, we did okay the other day. Rasmus, in my opinion, at the weekend had the best game he's ever had for us. But he's on the bench now. We're going to play Maswari in the 10. And do you know what? Lindelof, you ain't started since March. Come along. So, of course, it's the chopping and the changing. And it isn't even just, sometimes it's a player, somebody else comes in who plays that natural position. The amount of times he does things where you think to yourself, like Maswari's played regularly at left back at Bayern Munich. And actually, he's been good at right back for us. But instead, we put Delo out there. So you got someone who's really technically gifted on both feet that you put on the right side. And then someone else who's predominantly just pretty good on his right. You put him on the left. All these little things, for me, are big hindrances in creating chemistry. One of the reasons why Liverpool's backline looks so good this season is predominantly picking the same four people, especially the centre-back pairing, and they're building up a relationship. And we don't do that in Man Utd. We don't really allow players to start building up relationships with one another. We are so bad at that. Look, I want to jump to some of these super chats, just in interest of time, because the boys speak Tottenham as well. This one's here says, Delo's chance come from our system. Yeah.
And did we see it again? No. There you go.
Mourinho substituted a defender. Said, yeah, I need to do your microphone. It's really, I've reduced in the settings, but you guys have your own settings. I often control it. And don't ever leave it as echo. What you should, again, a quick lesson for everyone who uses StreamYard. Then don't click it. It should always be echo cancellation clicked on, reduce background noise. Stop clicking automatic mic adjustment. It should leave it on automatic. Leave it on automatic. Like you keep undoing it. Right.
I'm not touching it.
So if someone's unclicking, leave it on automatic mic adjuster and you get no background noise. The amount of time, I don't know, maybe he does it automatically. I thought you guys unclicked it. My apologies. Yeah, just leave it as it is. Jose Mourinho substituted a defender and still dominated at 3-year playing counter-attack football against Mourinho is crazy. What process? Mourinho is new at Fenerbahce and dominated £500 million manager. There was an element of embarrassment, but it was interesting, really. As soon as we made the subs, they weren't dominating. So I blame the manager because I put it down to the initial team that he put out. And I just think we actually played some nice football in that first half. You had Ahmad in that 10 role or Ericsson in that 10 role. There was 4 or 5 counter-attack opportunities where we'd have ripped them apart. We really would have done, in my view. People who think Maswari played well believe a pigeon can ride a bike. What in the mega mind fuck is he thinking? Obviously talking about Ten Hag. He's lost so much hair. He's losing brain cells now. I apologize if this is harsh. I mean, he hasn't got any hair. It's just fact. To all Diallo fans, Ten Hag doesn't rate him at all, but he put a left back over him at the 10 and Anthony over him at right wing. Is Diallo actually good or are fans being delusional?
No, some managers can get it wrong about this.
Great. Mm-hmm. He's flipping great, man. On and off the ball as well. Been saying that for the longest, even since Ollie, man. And you can go check my dates from time I've been talking about my man. From the first time he ever showed. Diallo should be playing every single game, in my opinion, unless he's injured. That's a fact.
Amad Diallo will be playing Fulham or something like that in 2 years.
Behave yourself, man. Baller.
No. Mo might be correct. Because we've seen it before many times when players aren't getting a chance to prove themselves week in, week out. They need to leave somewhere lower to go refine themselves. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened if Ten Hag stays.
Yeah. Ahmad was sent a very clear message by the manager tonight. I think it's a very, very clear message that, and it's annoying because he's actually been really good this season, and then suddenly he's just not been anywhere near the starting lineup, which I think is crazy personally. Guys, remember this is a match reaction for this game. No overarching statements about the manager, the season, long term.
It's a joke, right? This is a joke.
It must be a joke.
It must be, right? It must be.
Do you know what it is? It's funny, really, because I actually said I gave KJ some feedback the other day. I said, when guys come on for the match reactions, I don't mind people making statements about what this means for their season or about a player's career or something. But I said sometimes people don't want to talk about the game. They just jump straight into the overarching statements. I'm like, I mean, I've got to talk about the game a little bit on a match reaction. But yeah, that's a bit wild. To Maradon the Moron, by the way, it says, Terry, why are you challenging people as to why they believe things? It's called a conversation.
The debates, that's normal.
Yeah, if I say the moon is made out of cheese and the sky is really green, don't you want to know why I think that's the case?
Yeah. Like, I guess even if you're wrong, it's really interesting, right? Even if I don't believe in what someone's saying, because I listen to a lot of political podcasts, and I typically listen to the ones that I wouldn't vote for, because I'm very intrigued to understand why they think what they feel. So sometimes you'll listen to them for an hour, and I'm like, you just keep telling me what you think. Like, the person interviewing you hasn't delved into why. The why is so much more exciting than the what, in my opinion, in life. But there we go. It's been a while since I saw Daniel back on the terrace. I remember him on his first debut on the channel. Kids grown up by now. Happy for him. Big up. Young Daniel. Yeah, he's getting older. He's getting older. That's what happens. We all get older.
It was a nice super chat. She has to ruin it with the end with big up the mighty Charles. It would have been perfect if that last little bit.
We have a pattern for you. Seriously, we literally go into every game with a different plan. We have no chemistry in this team. The amount of excuses to defend Ten Hag ball is not even better than Ollie ball. Do I find interesting, Josh, right? And big up to everyone. Everyone's entitled to a different opinion. That's why I invented the Football Terrace. What I find really interesting is the people that will sit there and agree with all these things about how bad our manager is at coaching, the plan changes, there's no cohesion, there's no patterns, And then when you defend the players, those same people go, but your players are also dog shit. And I just sort of think, come on, like, it's a bit overkill now. Again, like, they're not dog shit. Some of them are. Tottenham won tonight. Young Daniel.
Yeah, could I go? If it's like fine with Harry, could I go first on the Tottenham thing? Because I actually have to run.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
you got to go to bed. You got to go to bed soon. You got school tomorrow. So yeah, I know.
Nah, I have football practice.
Yeah. Hang on, what kind of football? Our football or your football?
Real football. You know, with the foot.
Good. I'm glad you said that. I like that.
Well, actually, tonight I'm wearing a R9 shirt. Different R9 to the one that scored today, but you know, same thing.
No, don't say same thing. No, don't do that.
Wait, that's my night.
Calm down. The pigeon was back today. But like, he got injured as well. I don't know how bad the injury is. Hopefully it's not that bad, because he's literally just come back today. This was his first start of the season. But even if it is, we've got good squad depth in that position, so we'll be fine. Mikey Moore, bro. Mikey Moore. For like about 20 minutes, I thought we had Neymar playing for us. Jesus Christ, this kid is going right to the top. He was tearing apart these like 4 players. Beautiful ball into Brennan Johnson. Like, insane. There is no excuse for Timo Werner to ever start for the rest of the season again, unless like all our left wingers get injured. Because we got Odebert, who's better than Timo Werner. We have Mikey Moore, who's 6 times better than Timo Werner. And Heung-min Son, who usually is going to end up starting in the left wing. And by the way, to go back to Timo Werner, this guy, I said I don't want him to start again. I just don't want to see him in the team sheet again. Like, I want his loan. I know it's a loan. I want the loan terminated right now. I think he's contributed. He's contributed more to our TikTok account than to our starting 11 with goals. It's gotten to a point where I just don't want to see him play football anymore. And it's not like I know he's a great person. I bet he is an amazing person. He just doesn't know how to shoot to save his life. He had like 3 chances today, threw on goal. Just completely messed them all up. And but no, someone is calling.
No, I wanted to say,
he's older than you as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is 1 year older, so I can still do that.
How old is he?
17. He's 17.
He's 17. I've watched him play 2 or 3 times now, and I think, again, you got to nurture him because he's so young, but he needs more game time. I want to say this, and I don't want to overexcite anyone, but when watching him play, all that keeps running through my mind is this kid could end up being one of the greatest players in Manchester City's history when they buy him off you in a couple of years' time. That is how good he is. Genuinely, that is how good he is. So good, right? I'm going to stick it on Tottenham a bit here. You man better sort your club out, because if you dare ruin another player's career like he did Harry Kane. Like, I mean, it's in a nice way. It's not a dig at you individually. It's this kid looks like he could be special, and a special player deserves trophies. And we know what your club is allergic to them. He looks amazing. Like on a real level. That was the one person, because I had it on this screen here. I kept on hearing the commentators say his name, and I'm watching, going, "Oh my god, look at him!" And then I was looking at Anthony do spinny tops in the corner, and I'm like, "Oh fucking hell!" Like Jesus, he looked great, man. He looked great.
Quick question.
Don't worry about winning trophies because we're gonna win the Europa League this season.
Quick question. Do you think individual brilliance of footballers, that nature, that street ballers coming back to the game now? We've seen it again. It may just be a tadpole in the ocean when you look at Yamal and those type of players. But I'm obviously we all know fashion ends up coming back around, don't we? Do you know what I mean? It takes about 30 years and you get back the same fashion. I'm hoping that street ballers come back to the game and get rid of this system shit, because so much has gone into this system shit where players are nowhere near as good as what they are. And to see you guys talk about this player, this young kid, same with is it Lewis for Man City, another good young player. Just watching these ballers play, just effortlessly play. To me, that's the beautiful game. And to sit out the way you've just sat out of your seat talking about this should be how footballers make you feel anyway. That's what we grew up on. Nowadays, it's did my man misplace a pass? Yeah, get him out of the team, bro. I watched Zidane and Ronaldinho misplace pass to anything. No one said anything because they tried something. And then when it worked, it was like, quality.
Yeah,
so the question is also,
you see that great bit of skill we did, and then he did like outside of the foot pass across the box. Do you know what's really funny, right? So if you're a complete stat merchant, that officially counts as an incomplete dribble and giving away possession.
No, because it got to Brennan Johnson.
No, I swear it got intercepted.
No, Brennan Johnson got it. He shot it.
Well, that one didn't. There was another one that he did where he tried to pass and it was really good, but nobody made the run, so it kind of just trickled out. And that's where you can't. That's where I always say you've got to look with the eye and you've got to look at the stats. But generally, if you're with attacking players, if your eye test works, the stats are normally pretty good as well, if that makes sense. And but he looks a player. I will say this about Ange: you won tonight and you deserve to win. But if he keeps picking Timo Werner over Mickey Moore, there's something wrong with him. There's something wrong. He must be. Maybe the manager gets paid a percentage every time Werner kicks the ball. I don't know, but it's weird if he doesn't pick him, because right now at 17, Mickey Moore's better than Timo Werner has ever been.
For sure,
he is. He genuinely is. I'm not even lying. He's better.
Let's
better.
not. Okay. Listen, I think Timo Werner is washed, but his first stint at Red Bull Leipzig, let's not lie, man. Let's not lie in him. He was
if you actually go back to watch it, he still had the bad finishing. Like it's not been something like it was he could just score, and then randomly he just lost that ability to score. I'd be like 3 meters away from the goal.
Terry made, we have to pull it, but the statement that Terry made is ultimately ever been.
I'll double down. I'll double down, right? I'll double down. I can't be proven right or wrong, but I'll double down because it ain't gonna happen. You send Mickey Moore now on loan to a club like Leipzig in the Bundesliga. I bet you he's not quite a striker like Werner was. I bet you he can get a higher level of GA in that league with the high lines they play in a decent team of Leipzig's level or higher. He could go over there. You know, he could go over there and I mean, you've always got, look at Elise already, the GA he's got. He's not a better player now within a few months of being at Bayern Munich. He's got better players around him, of course, and he's playing in a league where I think it is slightly easier to score than it is in England.
So give you a 4-1 on that, to be fair. That's fair. That's a fair shot.
I'd do a 4-1 bet on that. I mean, we're never going to be able to test it because Spurs won't loan him out. But my belief is he's better.
Football Manager Sim.
Career mode. Put him into career mode.
Manager, we do it on that. Yeah, no, I think he's great. No, he looked really, really good. But you got the job done tonight. You're looking comfortable in the Europa League, and it seems like Ange is kind of over that sort of little blip that he was going through.
Henry was down now. Have you calmed down with the Ange outside? Are you back on the you know what, he can do a job for us, or you still want
still a long way to go. I expect us to beat AZ Alkmaar, but obviously hope you guys are well. And big up to my old manager Jose Mourinho for doing a job tonight on your tower shit. But I mean, Ange has definitely turned a corner. We've won 8 of the last 9 games. So I'm happy to critique and criticize him when it's due, and I'm happy to praise and give him props when it's due. And tonight, he rested, I think, 6 of the first team The only one of our backline played was Udogie. Vicario was rested. Son. Kulusevski, nice little cameo off the bench. But yeah, Mikey Moore, he's the second best 17-year-old in the world for me. Other than Lamine Yamal, this guy is incredible. And Terry will tell you, I've been speaking about him ever since I started doing the Top 6 show, which is probably on and off for over a year now. He is incredible. And he's just going to get better and better and better. The only problem is, do we align to his vision? Probably not. So unless we start winning silverware, which you'd imagine he's going to want ASAP, the bids are going to come running. And when he's now got a professional contract, he'll get another contract at 18 and 19. And in the next 2 years, he's obviously massive for his potential, his growth. He's got to be nurtured. He's got to be played in the right games. I don't think he'll start a game for a little while, if I'm being honest, just because this manager's got trust in Timo Werner. I don't know if he'll start Galatasaray away. I think if we beat Galatasaray away, we've qualified for the next round of the Europa League. I'll be honest. I don't think there's a standout team this year. Like, I don't think Athletic Bilbao have been good. I thought Rome would be a lot better than they have. Obviously, you guys at the moment, I mean, yeah, we've already spoken about Man United for the longest.
You don't have to worry about them, bro.
Yeah, literally, we're not winning.
I don't
As long as they keep Ten Hag, doesn't matter,
Unless
bro.
we change manager,
You just don't have to worry about them, bro.
I don't think Tottenham, we're never the team to beat. But right now, it's like we're not even playing. Like, we're winning games, but we're not like blowing teams off the park. You know, like we barely flexed our muscles tonight. We should have had a second penalty. You know, Madison played really well, putting passes into the channels. Nice little cameo from Kulu. Richarlison obviously gets his penalty. Nice little finish. Defensively, other than like a Dragusin hospital pass, like I think we could have played that game 10 times, and I don't think AZ would ever have scored. And that's no disrespect to AZ because they're like I don't know. And it's the same against when we played Karabag. Like, it sounds weird because it doesn't feel like we're playing Europa League when we've played in the past. We've had like some really tough groups. This year, because of how many teams are in like the pool of teams, I think the only tough test we've really got is Roma and Galatasaray.
Yours is coming.
Porto, Real Sociedad. I don't think you're the best team in that competition. It's not about that. It's because you're Spurs, bro. Because you're Spurs.
Yeah, I get what you mean, though. But it's the way these games work. Like United have had, again, I've got to look at Man United have had the toughest games out the way already. Like, you look at the caliber of the next groups. Even as bad as we are, we should be picking up those wins. Some people have had easier games.
We're not going to win. That's
again. But I agree with you. I didn't think, even though they had those opportunities, it was weird. I just didn't feel like they were ever going to score. It just had one of those feels about it tonight. It was a good header in the first half they had, but I also felt that you guys could up your level if you needed to, and it was almost you kind of play within yourselves somewhat as well. But
the big question is going to be is what does the manager do with James Maddison? Because
sell him.
Well, I don't know if you guys watched the West Ham game. He made that change at half time where he brought on Pap Sarr and kind of played a double pivot with Kulu. And Kulu's been our best player this season. Kulu has been like really, really, really good in the 8 and the 10. But against Crystal Palace, I don't know if Maddison should play, because I think Palace will come on. Palace have got to win that game, right? They're struggling. It's probably the last game before their manager is going to get the sack. And I think if we go the two attacking midfielders, it's a lot more like risk-reward strategy. And I think Maddison in the sort of game like tonight, where we're going to have all the ball, is when you're going to get him at his best. But in a lot of the other games in the Premier League, I don't know. Like, this is what I've wanted to see from Ange, is when it comes down to these big decisions, where's your bottle? And he showed the bottle when he took Maddison off, and it worked out, and we scored 3 goals in 10 minutes. But I look at our Europa League games. We've got Hoffenheim away. We should go out there and beat them. We've got Elfsborg at home. We should be beating them. We've got Roma at home. Now, Roma is a test for us. You know, they've got some good players. And we've got Galatasaray away. If we beat Galatasaray, that's it. That's it. I think we've qualified. We would have won our first 4 on the bounce.
With 9 points, you're already qualifying. The
You
thing
think-
about it, are you gonna qualify without the extra game or not? I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that is what people want.
You're not. You're probably at a
You'll
point where
get
you're
top
not.
eight. You'll definitely get top eight.
Yeah. You look like you're getting top
How
eight,
many
but you're.
points do we need? Sorry. What do you think the cutoff is for points wise to go through in these groups? Because
10.
There's no cutoff. It's just everybody
Yeah,
goes
I
out,
know,
goes
but
next
like,
one.
well,
No, Sunshine. I get
Only
your point.
12 teams go out. Najee.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah, so
Sunshine.
go.
I get your question. I think the real answer is no one knows yet. Like,
Yeah.
I think that everyone's kind of guessing. Oh, if we get 15, 16 points, will we be in the top 8 potentially? That's what I like about this first format is we used to know in the group stages. Generally, if you got 10 points, you were through. I think once Man United got 10 points and didn't, but generally you got 10 points, you were through. Like in the Premier League, you get 40 points, you stay up in the league as an example. But no one really knows, and it's such a weird one. One of the things I said in the draw, which got shut down by the panel, is that if you get your hard games first and you lose a few of them, like Bayern Munich have, as an example, Man United have drawn some. Yes, you've got easier games to come, but it puts far more jeopardy on them because you have to win them, and it changes the complexity of the of the games and everything, which I'm intrigued by. This super chat here says Chelsea fan TV and Chelsea fans got abused before the game. Let's see if Sky Sports say anything. Let's see if we get protected or get backed up. Oh, yeah, look, sorry, I didn't know about any of that. I'm sure that happened over in Greece. I apologize. I mean, Man United fans today were being attacked and, ransacked in places.
Obviously, because they're not English fans and not English.
Well, we
no
saw
one's
it in
gonna
Germany.
care.
We saw it in Germany, didn't we? Like, we were in a bar one night, and this was one of the maddest things I've ever seen. There was loads of fans from different countries in there. It was just before the final, but no, before the semi-finals. There was loads of French in there, loads of German, obviously, in there. There was English in there. And it was actually a great atmosphere, wasn't it, KJ? Like, every group was singing their songs. We were watching the semi-final of France-Spain, was it? It was France-Spain, so with Spanish people in there. It was a great atmosphere. But the door staff in there just had a hard-on all night to, like, beat up someone that was in English, and they went for it. And they got these two guys, and it was so sad to watch, actually. Just normal lads sitting there drinking. And we didn't know this to begin with. Luckily, I had cash on me. Is at the bar, and it was full of people. You order on your table, you pay at the end, and they said it was cash only. So these two guys, they've been there all night. They are drunk, and everybody could hear and see this. They were like, "We want to pay the bill," and the waiter come over and said, "Cash only," and they were essentially saying, "We've only got card." And they got the waiter started screaming and shouting, and there was a woman that was translating. She was a German woman that could speak English very well, and she was saying, "Look, they're not trying to not pay. They're asking if one of them can leave, go and get some money, and come back." And it was. She was screaming at these door staff and this waiter. They're not trying to not pay. There is no signs up in here saying it's cash only. They don't have cash. Can they do it? And in the end, they said, "Yeah, okay, it's fine, do it." And then it all went quiet and everyone kind of relaxed a bit. Well, okay, we'll get back to the football. And then out of nowhere, these doormen just started like smashing them, hitting them with glasses. Even the waiter was like choked one of the guys out, so he was unconscious. And then they got them outside, these guys all beaten and all bloodied up and nasty. And they're sort of standing there like half conscious. And this guy, he could barely see, he's just standing there like this, doing nothing. And then the doorman hit him on the chin again and knocked him spark out cold on the floor. Police arrived and arrested the two guys they beat up. And the woman that was translating was having to be restrained because she's saying they didn't do anything. And it made me laugh a little bit because I was like, there are some English fans that absolutely need to be banned from traveling, I think, anywhere, let alone when there's football on. But it is interesting how, again, that story was quite small, but it was like no media attention on that. Do you know what I'm saying? And it was just two normal blokes who had their whole trip ruined just because they didn't know that it was cash only. But none of us did. It was just fortunate. I remember saying to KJ, I was like, thank God we had cash on us because they were like looking for it. So it does happen. By the way, it doesn't excuse all the wanky England fans that go around. I don't like those dickheads either, but that was a mad night in there. It was a crazy night. It really, really was. Super chat here. Sorry, because says I must correct Terry. Timo Werner was cooking far better than most high-level wingers for big team. But he wasn't a winger that season with all those goals. He was playing as a centre forward predominantly. So I will concede that Mickey Moore may not score as many goals as he did. But we also all know that GA isn't the only attribute of reviewing a player. I think if you put him in a really well-organised team, as RB Leipzig were then, and you put him in that sort of left-hand side attacking role, I think he could get a higher level of GA plus be a top performer in that league. I really do. But there we go. Look, I want to thank everyone that's tuned into the show tonight. I want to thank everybody that's given us their thoughts, given us their feelings and their opinions. Henry, Sunshine, KJ, and obviously Mo and young Daniel that have been on. Thank you. We're back tomorrow with more content. KJ, just redirecting anywhere this video.
It's going to Mo's channel where he's doing his show.
So go to Nav's come back actually. Sorry, I was gonna say what Sky Sports report tomorrow. It's petty, yeah, but fair to us. Yeah, by the way, if it was Chelsea fans kicking off out there, Sky would be reporting on it. So I do get that challenge, and I do think that's a fair thing to say. Listen, go check out Mo's channel now. Go watch and support his show. We're back tomorrow with Straight Fact in the afternoon, 2:30 with Staffy, Don, and Lawless, and then Top 6 show at 6 p.m. as well, both tomorrow, because obviously the early game today. Yes, the Top 6 show is tomorrow, Rahman, just for you asking. Take care, goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you all again soon. Peace.